Okay, I'll keep this video short and speak from my heart. This is a message to all you Ethereum haters out there who think that ETH is going to drop down to zero. I think you're wrong and short-sighted, and honestly, it's funny how market cycles work. I've never really experienced a despair and desperation phase part of a cycle until now. Sure, Ethereum could go much lower, maybe even to pre-summer 2017 bull run levels, like under 100. But is it going to go to zero like some Ethereum haters like to say? I emphatically say no, and here are 3 reasons why. First and most importantly is because I think a bet on Ethereum is a bet on the crypto ecosystem as a whole. There are a lot of legit projects tied to Ethereum ecosystem like Augur, OmiseGo, Golem, Basic Attention Token, 0x, Kyber, just to name a few. It's still by far the best and most mature platform out there. There are barely any dApps being built on the Bitcoin blockchain yet, and also other platforms like Neo, EOS, Stellar Lumens, etc. They don't nearly have as big as an ecosystem for their projects. Now if you think about it, there's 4 sides of the never-ending debate. Is it Bitcoin only, blockchain and not Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, or none of the above? Who's right? And there are many people on all sides, right? You have the Bitcoin maximalists on side 1, you have people like Jamie Dimon on side 2, you have people who are in high of all of crypto on side 3, and then you have the detractors who've written op-eds saying that they think crypto has no reason to exist on side 4. If you're on side 3 like I am and think that crypto in general has a reason to exist and is beneficial, then you must be positive on Ethereum, at least in the short or mid-term. Because sure, something could replace Ethereum in a few years, but if Ethereum dies in the short or mid-term like many people think it is during this bear market, then I'm not joking. Something would have to be catastrophically wrong with all of crypto as a whole, and then the whole ecosystem would be dead at that point. Bitcoin, of course, would still survive, but it would revert back to its old day usages of just being used to buy drugs or gambling and so forth. That's why I don't think Ethereum will die, because I'm positive on the whole crypto ecosystem, and I'm betting on its survival by betting on Ethereum. Reason number 2, Ethereum is not just sitting idly around. They have a lot of technical improvements on their roadmap currently being developed. For example, many of you guys may have heard of proof of stake with Casper, sharding, Plasma, just to name a few. These improvements will make Ethereum even more secure, private, easy to use, all while maintaining decentralization. They also have one of the most talented dev teams in the whole crypto world working every day to improve the Ethereum network. You have Vitalik Buterin, Vlad Zamfir, just to name a couple. And all of this without the infighting of other dev communities out there. And finally, reason number 3 why I don't think Ethereum will die is because if you take a look at the network metrics, Ethereum is still pretty healthy. And as we've talked before in a previous video, a really fair way to value a network has to do with how many people are using it, how often, and how much they're transacting. So if you go to Ethereum network block explorers like etherscan.io or some other ones, you can see stats and charts of the usage. The new address growth is still steady. The daily number of transactions is a little bit down from before, but it's still pretty high. And also the overall hash rate from miners is still pretty steady and pretty high up there. So many of these metrics that speaks to usage and value of the network are still pretty good. And so that's why I think Ethereum is still healthy. And even though the price is dropping, I don't think it's going to go down to zero. So those are my 3 reasons why. All in all, I don't want to give any financial advice, but I'm going to be personally hodling onto my Ether. Also cost averaging if it goes any lower than it is right now. So I'd like to hear from you though. What are you going to do when it comes to Ethereum if you currently hold it or have your eye on it? Please let me know down in the comments below. You can support me by smashing that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. This is Kevin, and I'll catch you guys next time.